Hi everyone, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. My name is KiwiSimsKate. Kiwi because I'm from New Zealand, Sims because I love The Sims, and Kate because that's my name. It's as simple as that. A welcome in and a special warm welcome if you're brand new here. I create speed builds in The Sims, if you haven't guessed that already. And today I am bringing you my first speed build in Copperdale, which is the world that we got with the new high school years pack. I love the pack. I must admit, I don't do a lot of the gameplay, and after a while it does get a little tedious with the sort of repetition of school life. However, I really like the world. They've also, the lighting in Copperdale when it first came out, when the pack was first released, was a little dark, but they did fix that, so now it's really quite perfect. It's got some good shadows, but it's not super dark, so it's much nicer, much more pleasant to build in than it used to be. And it's got an awesome sort of, I guess, amusement pier that has a Ferris wheel and other kinds of amusement activities and rides and things, bumper cars, I think. And yeah, the world is just adorable. It feels like something out of an 80s American teen comedy or rom-com. And this is my first speed build in the world. So I did look up a little bit of inspiration on Pinterest, but I won't put the picture here because it really was my initial just kind of brief inspiration for the build, and a lot of it turns out very differently. So let me know in the comments below if you do want me to place a link to the picture if you're interested at all. But yeah, it turned out to be quite different from the initial reference picture I had. And I also initially thought I would use that floor plan, but I went with something completely different as well, just because, you know, building from real life to The Sims doesn't always work out. The dimensions and everything can be quite tricky to translate. So often it requires a little bit of adjustment here and there. So I've got the basic structure of the house together. This is a residential build, so I thought it would be a cute little family build. Because this is in Copperdale, which was the high school years world, I decided to build a house for a parent or two parents and two teenagers, where possibly maybe they were like twins I had in mind, and they each had very different personalities. So their rooms are like opposite each other, right across from the hall, and they have completely opposite personalities and tastes in terms of decoration and hobbies, and all of that kind of thing. So that was kind of my thought around designing this house, and I really wanted to use the new item that allows teens to sneak out of the house after hours. I think that is such a cute detail. I love it when we get items like that add something really unique to the gameplay. And also it's a build item, so you know, you keep the builders happy as well as the game players. I loved using this green brick as well. I can't now remember actually what pack it came from, I'm sorry, but this green brick, I've never used it before, and I thought it looked super cute. I thought it sort of blended in with the world quite well, and it looks nice mixed with this quite plain horizontal siding as well. So yeah, I fell in love with it as soon as I saw that swatch. I thought to myself, why have I never used this before? It's perfect for this kind of suburban build. And there's a little porch in the front, And the reference picture I initially looked at had these shuttered windows as well. So that's another feature I knew I wanted to include from the reference. But other than that, a lot of it is very different. Like I wasn't able to see the back of the reference picture at all, so that's all made up. And as I said, I completely changed the floor plan. And speaking of the floor plan, you will see that I did not include right now where I'm trying to figure out this back porch area, or this back balcony. You'll see that the top floor of the house has a floor plan already, but I didn't include it in the video. That's because it changes almost entirely. So I cut that out because I didn't want the video to be too long, but I change it to a totally different floor plan. So I didn't include the working of me doing the first version of the upstairs floor plan. Downstairs stays pretty much the same. And this is me around the back of the house trying to figure out where I'm going to place that window that the teens can sneak out of, and the trellis. It's a little finicky. Like you have to place it. You have to have certain things in order for it to work. So I did do a lot of play testing during building this. Like in between. Usually I'll build something, complete it, and then I'll play test it. But because I needed to get the climbable window and the climbable trellis right, because that was kind of one of the main functions of this house, I did do a little bit of play testing in the middle of my build. So I can assure you it works. What you see throughout the video does get edited every now and then because I keep going to sort of figure it out and it's not quite working. And it's a bit of a shame because I had to leave a gap in the balcony half wall in order for the sim to be able to kind of step out onto the trellis. So it's a little bit frustrating. It's not quite perfect how I would like it to look, but it does function. So your sim can either sneak out of the bedroom or sneak out from the corridor. So there's 2 climbable windows upstairs at the back of the house. I definitely wanted a climbable window out of that teen's bedroom because that is the teen. You'll see me furnish it a bit later. That's the teen that I thought was super rebellious. There's kind of one teen that is really, I don't want to say perfect, but a bit of a goody-good. Really, always gets good grades, is very well behaved, teacher's pet type thing, never does anything wrong. And then the other teen is a bit more rebellious. She sneaks out, or he sneaks out, the sim sneaks out, and is maybe a bit more of a handful, I would say, for the parents. And I always love kind of getting a bit of variety in the bedrooms when I'm designing my houses. So this is me starting on the interior decor. What do you call it? Furnishing. That word just completely escaped me. The furnishing, and I start in the kitchen where I often start. I feel like the kitchen, for me, the kitchen feels like the heart of the home often. So especially with a family build, I would say probably a lot of families spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So I can usually get a feel for the rest of the house once I've got my kitchen designed and finished. So I've used the counters from Jungle Adventure. I love these counters. They just look very, not that counters can look comfy, but they're very warm colors. The wood tones in the swatches are very warm. So they feel like they fit in a family home. And I paired it with this amazing half tile. I love this tile wall swatch. All the swatches actually that come that are in this wall covering I love, and they're really versatile. There's lots of different colors and different combinations of color, wall and tile, so I find that I can use them in a lot of different styles of builds as well. And then I clutter up the bench tops a little bit as well, and add in some of my favorite artwork in the game, which is not technically artwork, but it's these feather collection pieces that when you're looking for them in the build catalog or the buy catalog, they just look like feathers. You can also search in the search bar. If you start typing in feather, all of them should come up if you've got your debug and live edit objects turned on. And when you pull them out and you place them on a wall, they turn into these framed bird feather picture things, and I love them. They're one of my favorite wall items. So I placed a couple of those, and then I wanted to put some open shelves up above the sinks, which I put 2 sinks in here. Might be a little bit overkill, but one sink I felt made the kitchen look really empty because it's quite a big kitchen, and a house for 3 or 4 Sims, you probably don't need a kitchen this big, but I feel like a double sink is kind of fancy. Feels like maybe they've got a bit of money, this family. So yeah, I liked adding that second sink. I think it not only made the kitchen look a bit more full, less empty and sad, but it also kind of indicates that this family is fairly well off. They're not for want of money, I think. And then just really pulling out as many things that will fit on these small shelves as possible. These shelves were also from the Jungle Adventure pack, but they're kind of tricky to clutter up because they are quite narrow, and so most things I had to size down to place on there. But I think I did an okay job in the end. Let me know if you like the clutter. And then a few items on the bench, just so it looks like it's a bit lived in. You've got a mug rack and a bread bin. You've got, a lot of items from Parenthood. And I also go back later. I don't know if it's in my video, but I do place a popcorn maker as well, just beside the stove. And then also Sims can eat in the kitchen, so I placed the counter islands at one end as well. So if they're just getting quick breakfast or something, they can just sit at the counter. But next I'm moving on to the sort of formal dining room, but it's not particularly formal. It's still quite casual. This house is quite cozy feeling. There's a lot of warm woods and tiles. I kept it quite kind of comfy furnishings. And I also tried to use quite a few of the new items from the High School Years pack as well. So you'll see in the living room in particular, and every now and then I go and filter by the High School Years expansion pack to make sure that I'm kind of making use of as many items as possible that came with that pack. Some of the things that came with that pack is this tile, which I've used throughout the kitchen and the dining, and I love it. It's gorgeous. The colors are amazing, and I love that you can create your own little patterns. You would have seen me at the start maybe struggling a little bit at how to make a nice pattern. In the end, I just settle with these sort of large square shapes, which I'm happy with. I wanted to do something a little bit quirkier, but my brain was not working, so I couldn't. And then what else came with the High School Years pack? Oh, the doors as well. So the door that I place in the dining room that leads into the bathroom, which I'll furnish a bit later, that is also from the High School Years pack. I love that door. It might now be my favorite internal door that we have in The Sims 4. I love the swatches that it comes in. I love how tall it is. So even in the short wall height, it goes really high up. It's not so short. I feel like a lot of the doors are a little short looking, and I don't know, I feel like the proportions are a little bit off. They frustrate me. And then I also used a few things from the new Desert Luxe kit, which, if you didn't know already, why have you been living under a rock? It is free for everybody, so please make sure you go and download that while you still can. I think it's only going to be temporary, I think, maybe. So make sure you download it quickly before it's not available for free anymore. And then, of course, obviously, if you haven't heard the news, the Sims 4 base game is going free on October the 18th, which is just around the corner. So everyone will be able to play, which is really exciting. But the Desert Luxe kit came with the most incredible, bifold French glass door things, which I've used coming out of the dining area, and it goes out onto the back porch. Unfortunately, we didn't get a swatch that where the doors actually open as your sim moves through them and then it closes again. I'd love one of those. I wish that whenever we got doors that were like this, I really wish they would give us two options. One with the doors permanently open and one with the doors closed where you see an animation of them opening as your sim moves through them. The other door that is similar is the one that I've used in this build as well, actually, which is between the dining room and the kitchen. That came with the industrial loft kit, another kit, in fact. And again, with that, the door is always open, so it's a little frustrating if you're using it as an external door because it means that your lighting is a bit off, like the lighting inside your house. It sort of plays with it a little bit, and it makes it a little frustrating as a builder. But I love both of the doors. I think design-wise, they're gorgeous. I'm moving on to the living room now. So as I said earlier, I wanted it to feel cozy, very kind of family-oriented. Things sort of match, but not necessarily. Like, I feel like they've picked out close enough colors, but you know, it hasn't been designed by an interior designer. So I use a lot of blues, greens, creams, and browns. I love this dark blue wall paint. And this new rug that came with High School Years. I love this so much in the swatch, the black one with all the flowers. And both of the sofas are from the High School Years pack, I believe. I think so, at least. The cane one absolutely is. Now I'm second guessing about the cream sofa. That might have come from Desert Luxe kit. I can't remember now. Anyway, here I'm using a trick I've used in the past. I can definitely not claim it as my own hack. I saw it in a SimLessy speed build video, and I can't remember if she said she thought of it or if she said she saw it somewhere else as well. But it's definitely not my idea. Making this kind of upright piano out of a keyboard and two of the cats and dogs side tables. Something I haven't seen anyone do yet, so I didn't see it, so I don't know if I'm the first one that thought of it, but I hadn't seen anyone put this wall object, like merge it into the side table so it looks like it's a music book standing up above the keyboard. I think I've seen someone do something similar with the tool mod, but a different item with a book, like an open book. But that was once I'd already thought of this, so I'd like to think I can claim that idea, but I'm not sure. I'm not gonna confirm nor deny. And then we've got one bathroom downstairs. I've actually put a laundry in as well. So from the dining room, you can walk through the laundry and then into the bathroom. There's a full bathroom downstairs and another one upstairs. I figure with two growing teenagers, the last thing you want is fighting between the teens about who's using the bathroom and why they're not out yet. So yeah, growing up with many siblings myself, I can relate to that. Having one bathroom in the house is not fun. And it's a little cramped in this one down here, but it does all work. I play tested it. The laundry, however, how I leave the laundry in the speed build is not how it is when you download this build off the gallery, which you can if you would like under my gallery ID KiwiSimsKate. But I had to take out a couple of items because my sim could get to the washer, but they couldn't get to the dryer. So there was just not enough floor space. So before I uploaded it to the gallery, I have adjusted that and made sure that you can use both the washer and the dryer. And I think what I did is I moved this laundry basket, the usable laundry basket, I moved that to where the decorative laundry basket is in the bathroom, and I also removed that tall decorative cabinet. So there's nothing along that wall now, and your sim can move up and down there and put in and remove items from the dryer. So you shouldn't have any issues there. And I just put a few more clutter items in the laundry. I didn't want it to be too messy. Again, I always make sure that my builds are playable unless for some reason I've specified that they're not, but everything that I create a speed build for does go up on the gallery, so I want you to be able to use them if you want in your game. Now I've moved upstairs and I start with the teen rooms, I believe, just kind of trying to figure out the vibe for each teen. I knew I wanted them opposite, but I wasn't sure how to. I found one teen's room really easy, the kind of more innocent teen, who's got a lot of sort of light colours, pinks and purples and blues, soft toys and things like that. The other teen's room I found a little trickier. I wanted it to look cool and like they were maybe into like rock music, and they're a little rebellious. So I think overall in the end I figured it out, but it took me a little while. And then so I actually furnished the parents' room first, and then I go back and furnish the teens' rooms. I think initially I just wanted to figure out which teen was going to live where. So this is the parents' room. Either you can have a single sim in here or two sims, and it's fairly simple. I have a problem with leaving blank spaces on the wall and in the corners of rooms, so I do fill the room up quite a bit. And again, once I play tested it, there were a couple of things that were blocking my sim from walking around. So this little laundry cart, the decorative laundry cart, I remove. And I think I keep the mirror, but I've just shifted it, I think, back towards the wall a little bit further. But my sim was not able to walk around the other side of the bed. So again, that's fixed, and it will be all good when you download it from the gallery. And then other than that, there's a wardrobe, double bed, a nice comfy armchair. I loved using these colours in this room, the orange and the blue together. They're kind of not necessarily two colours I would put together, but I think they worked. Let me know if you think they're horrible together and I should never do that again. And then also that wall item, the kind of collection of wall decorations, that came with, was that Industrial Loft Kit? It might have been. I can't remember now. But no, it was Decor to the Max. It came with Decor to the Max kit. I swear we've had a million kits. Once they started bringing kits out, I can't, there's just too many now to remember. This is the upstairs bathroom. So I picked out a tile which I loved, which again is from the high school years pack, for the walls. And I tried to incorporate some of the colours from the wall tile into a lot of the other items in the room. So there's yellows, browns, greens in there. And then I think that the pink counter works. A little extra pop of colour. I don't think it clashes too much. But again, I didn't want this house to look perfect. I didn't want it to look like it came out of a magazine, which is a habit that I tend to get into when I'm building Sims houses. I love things to match and them to look perfect. But I mean, most family homes I've been into, they are far from perfect. So yeah, I do try and keep that in mind when I'm decorating. But it's hard. It's hard to make things not perfect in a game sense when you have the ability to. Anyway, I've moved on to the teens rooms now, picking out lots of high school years items for these 2 rooms. Some of the furniture and the decorative items, everything was so cool that we got with this pack. So, I mean, almost everything you see is from the high school pack. The bed, the side table, the wall clutter above those pieces of furniture, the curtain, the floor clutter, the items on the bedside table, the rug, the flags, the closet is not from high school years. I want to say that's from Parenthood, that closet. I love the closet because it came in a 2x1 tile. I really, really love the other closet we have, but it's so large. It's a 2x2, and I almost never have space for it, so I have to use this one. And I would really love to have the other closet in a 2x1 version, or just more options for inbuilt closets. That would be really great. Thank you. And the little desk area. So the 2 bedrooms kind of get the same sort of stuff. They both have obviously a bed, a closet. They both have a mirror, and they both have a little desk area. And then all of the decoration is different, quite opposite for the 2 rooms. So this one I've cluttered up with some books, a football, lots of posters. I want it to look kind of very colourful, but more deep colours, sort of darker, without being emo. I don't think this kid is necessarily emo, but they're just kind of more into... I pictured it being 2 girls, but obviously they could be whoever you want. But I pictured this Sim as a female who was kind of more into sports. Maybe she was a bit of a tomboy. She likes music, maybe kind of rock and possibly even emo music. But she's not necessarily only into, dark colours. And then the other room is quite opposite, as I said. It is purples and baby pinks and baby blues, light colours, very kind of candy coloured. I use the same wallpaper in each room, but just different swatches. And then this teen also gets a double bed because I really wanted to use this double cane bed. I used a few pieces of cane furniture in this bedroom. So the bed with that adorable bedspread. I mean, these colours, I don't think, personally, I could live in either of these rooms. I think the rebellious teen is too dark and multicolored, and I think this room is too pastel-y for my taste. But I do love, I can picture the character that lives here, which I really like to do. So they've got the bookshelves as well from the pack. They've got that cane egg style chair in the corner, which I loved using. And I also used this curtain that sits above the bed, and it has fairy lights inbuilt into it. I feel like that was probably something I would have loved as a teenager. And in fact, I had a similar thing, but it didn't have lights inside it. But it was like a sheer curtain that hung over my bed as a teen. And I actually had it made for me for Christmas. My mum gave it to me one Christmas, and she had bought this sheer fabric, and she had hand painted on this, like meters and meters of fabric, all these tiny little white and yellow daisies. It was so cool. It's still probably one of my favorite presents I've ever got. These days, I probably wouldn't hang it above my bed, but as a teen, I really loved it. I was very proud of it. And then this teen has also got a desk area, which I clutter up. I mean, you can see me here attempting to clutter using the OMSP red shelf, and just a little kind of sneaky way of cluttering. It gets really tricky when you can't, when there's so many snapping points on a surface in the game, and items just keep snapping to the places you don't want to place them. It's a struggle, but I stuck with it, and I'm really glad I did, because I'm happy with the way that the clutter turned out. And then I think this is the last area inside the house that I decorate. So just the upstairs landing hallway type area. There's a fish tank, and a few kind of hallway surface cupboard clutter items. I didn't want to leave this little spot blank that I'm decorating now. I feel like it needed something, but I didn't know what, so I just used a few items with similar whitewash wood swatches and clutter them up with a few items that look like maybe they've got family storage in them. And I think that's kind of it for the inside of the house. I place a rug up here as well. I think it's the rug from Cats and Dogs, the one that looks like it's sort of woven. I would love to get another rug that's the same shape as the one that I'm placing down now, and the same size, but in different colors and different styles, textures and things, because I love that rug, but it's not necessarily usable in a lot of different styles of build. Like, it's definitely not applicable to a modern build, but it's such a good size, because even when you size that down one or up one, it can work in a lot of different places. Anyway, this is moving on to the exterior. This is the last sort of area that I move on to before the screenshots, and I've tried to use as many debug and live edit exterior objects as possible. So this fence is a live edit fence, and a lot of the plants are debug plants or live edit plants. It just makes the build a little less expensive. So if you are playing without money cheats and you want to place this house in your game, and you want your Sims to buy it, it's a little bit more practical than if I were to purchase all of the plants. The plants make builds crazy expensive. I also make use of the tool mod in a few places in this build, but this is me just shifting a fence so that it fits nicely against the house. And the whole backyard is fenced. Oh, there's an opening at the back of the house where your Sims can come in and out, just outside of the patio, and then obviously at the front by the front steps. And out the back, I didn't want to clutter the back up too much. I've just placed some pots so that your Sim can grow some plants. I thought maybe one of the parents might be a little bit into gardening if they have time. And then also a little table and chair set. I didn't put any barbecue or like cooking stuff out there. Obviously you can add that if you like in the game, but I didn't feel like it needed too much stuff back there. I wanted to keep it quite plain. But the screenshots are coming up soon, and if you do want to download this build, my gallery ID is KiwiSimsKate. You can find this build and all of my other builds that I've created speed builds for there, including also some households as well. If you enjoyed the build, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps. And hit that subscribe button if you're not already following me here on YouTube. You can also follow me on twitch.tv/KiwiSimsKate, where I stream twice a week, and my Twitter and Instagram handles are also KiwiSimsKate. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care out there. Bye!